Good morning, and thank you, David. I want to thank Nat Ford and the JTA board for their forward thinking in this area, giving every child, regardless of the neighborhood, the tools they need to be successful. This is a great example of that. And I look forward to seeing other city agencies letting everyone know what they're currently doing or the willingness to find opportunities to serve more. When I first brought this idea up to Nat, his response was, let's see what we can do. Later, I spoke with the DCPS leaders, and I quickly realized that there was a big need. I'm grateful for the visionary leadership of both the Superintendent, Dr. Green, Nat Ford, and the strengths of their boards for bringing visionary ideas like this to fruition through collaboration and partnership. Together, we can do more impactful work on behalf of kids. And to me, when I think about the value of a program like this, I think of what the purpose is. These kids are getting rides to school. These kids are getting rides to jobs. And if you enter into conversations that often talk about how can we reduce crime, how can we make a difference and make an impact in the lives of our future generations, it's jobs and it's education. So I'm proud to have played a small part in something that I believe is going to be so big and impactful in our city. And in closing, Jacksonville is a great city with boundless potential. Efforts like this are examples of why I'm optimistic of the future. And as Gandhi says, the true measure of a society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, Council Vice President Freeman. Next up, I'd like to introduce Jacksonville Transportation Authority CEO, Mr. Nat Ford. Good morning, Mr.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, David. Good morning to Council Vice President Freeman, as well as Dr. Green from the Duval County Public Schools for joining us this morning. Thank you for being here. We are starting this new year with a great opportunity for parents and for students. And thanks to the leadership of Vice President Freeman, his colleagues on City Council, and our Superintendent, Dr. Green, the JTA was able to quickly launch this new pilot program for all Duval County middle and high school students. As Vice President Freeman mentioned, we are ensuring that students as well as parents have another option during the school week to get to class, to get to a before or after school activity, as well as to get to home from practice. When we looked at the JTA data related to our routes and schools, middle schools and high schools, we found that 34 of our 36 routes are literally right next door to one of the schools as well as to the classrooms. And so we're so excited about this opportunity. For example, a student attending Fletcher Middle or high school at the beach has access to the Route 10, which is just a few feet from their classrooms. Students at Andrew Jackson High School can use the Route 1. Terry Parker High and Arlington Middle School students have Route 23, and so on. I am so very proud that we could extend this program also to the thousands of charter and private school students. This includes we recently cut the ribbon on this school about this past fall, the KIPP Voice Academy, which is actually on Gulffair Boulevard and also includes an on-campus bus stop for the First Coast Flyer Green Line. This will also benefit the students who attend the River City Science Academy or Bishop Kenny High School on Beach Boulevard, who can now ride the Route 8 at no cost. Now, for parents who have some concerns, I want to reassure you that students on board the JTA is nothing new. We've had a discounted student fare program for decades, and we are basically now allowing you just to ride for free. That's the only difference. We anticipate an increase in ridership among our youth passengers, so I want to take an opportunity to just reiterate how important our commitment is to this community. The safety and well-being of your students, your children, is utmost importance to us and a priority at all times. Our relationship with JSO ensures that issues related to our service are immediately brought to our attention and they are able to handle those issues. Each bus, just like the two buses you see behind me, are fully equipped with state-of-the-art audio and visual technology, and our bus operators and our transit supervisors and our entire staff at the JTA are thoroughly trained on safety, so when they see something, they say something. I would also encourage our teens who are using the system to do the same. And as it relates to the COVID-19 virus, by the end of this month, every JTA bus will be outfitted with an ultraviolet filtration, air filtration system to ensure that all of our buses are safe havens as it relates to health concerns. Our buses are cleaned throughout the day and as needed, and just this past month, as I mentioned, we will be finishing off that project. As a reminder, face masks are required on all public transportation vehicles and in our stations. This is a federal rule from the Transportation Safety TSA that runs through at least March of the 18th of this year, and any updates from TSA we'll make sure that we get to you. Some have asked me, why are we calling this a pilot program? In public transportation, it is critical that when you launch a new service, be it reduced or a free fare program, we really need to take the time to study it and ensure that we are able to scale it all the way up. Through this pilot, we will spend the next 6 months looking very closely at the data, the ridership trends, any challenges and/or opportunities we need to consider as we make this program permanent. And from there, we'll have to hold a series of public meetings, conduct more Title VI analysis, and then make some tweaks to the service as we see fit to make sure we make the greatest impact. In order for it to be successful, we need your feedback. We need to help you. We need you to also help spread the word. So I want to thank you in advance for your help. And finally, once again, let's thank Vice President Freeman for pushing us to look at this opportunity, and for Dr. Green and her staff for working with the JTA hand in hand and getting ready for this spring semester. Your partnerships have been invaluable, and I look forward to the great work we are going to do together as in the years ahead. For more information about the project and other JTA news, please visit us online at jtafla.com or follow us on social media. And with that, I'd like to bring up somebody I consider an asset to our community and truly a partner with the JTA, Dr. Diana Green, Superintendent of the Duval County Public School System. Dr. Green?
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Ford and JTA, for this great partnership. And thank you, Vice President Freeman, Councilman Freeman, for your vision to bring this forward for our students. Also, on behalf of the Duval County School Board, I want to thank our staff who diligently worked through this process to ensure that this partnership could come to fruition. It is very important to know that we are not changing our current transportation services. We have over 900 buses that run thousands of routes. However, this is an opportunity for our families to consider another option, to consider getting their middle and high school students to school, back home, and even to after-school jobs or activities that they may consider to participate outside of school. This partnership is a great beginning for a new semester in a new year of 2022. Thank you.
All right, everybody, that concludes the press conference portion of this. If you have any questions, we're happy to do that either together or off to the side. Okay. Want to just do it together? Yeah, we'll do it together. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just do them together. Okay.
Good morning, this is Emily Block from the Florida Times Union. I would like to know who's covering the cost of this program and how much the school district is currently paying for bus costs each year, and if that's been impacted by this partnership and just delayed routes in general. Thank you.
So the question was, who's bearing the cost for this service? The JTA is bearing that cost in its actual fiscal year 22 budget. And as part of that evaluation for the permanency of the program, we will look at it from a financing standpoint in our next year's budget with the JTA Board of Directors. The actual cost really is minimal to the JTA because we're not adding any additional service to our current service levels, and so we're using existing capacity that we're providing on a daily basis and just offering it to these students to ride complimentary.
Currently, the school district spends about $65 million on transportation. This new option for students will not impact that. We still have a requirement to provide transportation services for any student that lives 2 miles outside of their attendance zone, as well as we have a very large magnet transportation and other options for our students. Those will not change.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Barreto. I'm with Action News Jax, and my question is for Superintendent Dr. Diana Green. We are 1 day away from students returning back to the classroom, and I know you said safety is so important, just as it is for JTA. I wanted to ask you, do you have any concerns over the surge in COVID cases, and would you consider a change in the current recommendation for masks for students?
The legislature passed a law at the beginning of November that school districts are not allowed to mandate masks for students. However, if students are utilizing JTA, they do have the requirement to follow the COVID-19 guidelines, protocols that are required on their buses. Our students, we will strongly encourage them to wear masks, but we cannot mandate that they wear masks. We sent out information to all of our families and our employees yesterday that we've made some changes to our COVID-19 protocols. Visitors, as well as adults working with children, are required to wear masks. We've postponed field trips unless it's competitions. We've reduced our attendance guidelines to 75%. The foresight of this board passed a communicable diseases policy in December. We are now enacting that policy, ensuring that we provide as safe an environment for our students. We also have updated our air filters to MERV 13, and so we feel very confident that we are prepared for our students to return back to school tomorrow.
Thank you. Mr. Ford, I had one more question. So I've been speaking with parents who are wondering, would this mean the possible expansion of current routes to go into their neighborhoods if that is what the pilot program finds is helpful to these students?
So as part of the review of this program, we will look at where we need to make adjustments in terms of our route structure, and by all means, if it means an expansion of service to accommodate these students, we'd love to do that. And so we'll evaluate that over the next 6 months as part of our budget process and data collection, and we are really excited about this opportunity to introduce these young riders to our system, and those young riders hopefully in the future will become adult riders, and so there's a lot of benefit to our community from a school student standpoint and from a JTA ridership standpoint. Thank you. Yes. Yes, right now the service is scheduled to run for the free pass program for the students, it's scheduled to run from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so late in the evening, we're not able to provide that accommodation. We did this in partnership with the Duval County Public Schools, and so by 7 p.m. we will be discontinuing the program during the week. Yeah. Right. So we will run our normal service, and our normal service runs from about 5 a.m. in the morning to about 1 o'clock. The last few buses finish about 1 a.m. The complimentary program is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so after those time frames, students would have to pay if they're outside of those time frames. Our normal frequency of service, regular service, that's, you know, they're going to remain the same. As soon as I stood